Good morning and welcome to the video for Thursday, July the 30th. This is going to be a video for our upcoming 6th graders. On Monday, we started talking about some things working with statistics. We are going to go ahead and continue that today. I'm going to be talking about how we can find where the center of a set of data is. There are 3 different methods and when one method might be more appropriate than another to use. We're also going to talk about outliers, which is going to be a number that is drastically different than everything else and could throw off our attempt to find the true center that we're looking for. And so there are 3 different ways. Mean is going to be the average of all the numbers. So I would write all these numbers out. I need to do that to get the median. So I'll kind of scribble these in while I'm talking. And so we would take all of the numbers, add them together, and then divide by the total number of numbers that we're working with. So in this case, we have 7 numbers. I could go ahead and add all these up. So that's going to give me 10, 20, 30, 42. 42 divided by 7 should give me 6. The median is going to be the middle number in the set. And so there might be an instance that we would want to use this. Let's say I change to 8 numbers, but I make the last number much larger than everything else that we're working with. So now if I take all of my numbers, I would end up with what it would be 62. Yeah, 10, 20, 30, 42, 62. So 62 divided by 8 would give me something a little bit closer to 8. And so that would throw off my average considerably. But if I don't have that there, I can also find that my median is going to be the center number. So I have 3 numbers on this side, 3 numbers on this side. The center number is going to work for that, which would give me 6, which means both of these are the same numbers. If I add that 20 back in, what we'd end up doing with an even set of numbers is going to look between the two. So I would count over to my 4th number from this side, 4th number from this side, and I would take the average of both of these. Since they're the same number, we don't have to do that. The mode is going to be the most frequently represented number. So we might end up in a situation where we would have like a 1, a 2, and let's say we have like 4 5s, and then a 6 and a 7. And so I might end up having the median be the same as the mode, but we might end up having so many things represented as one number for our data points that it would make the most sense to use the most frequently repeated number as our measure of center. So that's what the mode would be. We would have 2 of them in this case, which means 5 would be a measure of center as well as 6. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple different things that we might look at. So what they want us to do for this one is to go ahead and give all of our data points on the plot. And so our dot plot would start at 26, which is going to be a drastically lower number than everything else that comes along. We're going to have 3 things on 43. We're going to have 1 on 42 and 2 on 45. So the reason that we would do this is to figure out that this is going to be our outlier. And so what I could do, I'm not going to take the time to do every single step of this, but this would be an example of when we would have a drastically different answer for this. So I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 data points. And one of those data points is considerably lower than the other. So if I tried to use the average with the mean, with this outlier, it would drastically drag down my temperature. And so most of the values that my average would be somewhere in this kind of range here. And so if our average is lower than most of our data points, there's something wrong. Or if it's much higher. Again, the point of choosing a method of center is something that's going to represent the numbers that we're working with. If we tried to average with this number in there, we would not be representing these data points very well. So what we might use instead would be the mode. The mode would be 43, and that would be 3 of our 7 data points. And so with that one being an outlier, that would basically give us half of our numbers that we want to work with all having the same thing. And then we would also find that if we wrote these out, we would end up at our first, second, third, fourth value, excuse me, as our median. So we would want to use probably the median or the mode for this. But we could also use the mean by dropping this out and doing all of that extra work. So I just kind of wanted to show you a reason why we would want to possibly do that. So that covers everything that I want to talk about for today. I could probably spend another 2 or 3 minutes just actually working the problem, but you guys will actually do that when we do the real lesson. So those are some things that we'll talk about once we get later on into this coming spring. There will be some additional stuff with statistics that we will talk about in our next couple videos. So stay tuned for those. Hope your summer is going well. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.